Hey YouTube, Rook here from Rook Geek. Goodness, my little channel on the interweb for all things geeky and cool. And this video, guys, is another action figure review. We're going to be looking at the Mattel WWE Elite figure AJ Styles from wave number 56. It's a brand new AJ Styles figure, came out about a month and a half ago. I was rather surprised to find him on a toy hunt. I had to get this guy because I'm a big AJ Styles fan. Now, I've done two different reviews in the past. One for the Elite Series number 47 AJ Styles, which is his Royal Rumble debut gear. And I did one fairly recently, which was based off a Toys R Us release, which is a Spotlight Series Elite figure for AJ Styles. That particular figure with the red, white, and blue gear, which we'll talk about at the end of this video, is extremely hard to find now. It goes for about $80 on Amazon right now. I don't know why it's so hard to get. I don't know why it's considered a rare figure. They had plenty of them on the actual pegs at Toys R Us when I was looking for it, when I actually found that figure. But it sold out really quickly, and maybe because of scarcity, that's why it's so valuable. But this particular figure here from wave number 56, I really like this figure. There are pros and there are cons, and I want to talk about that in the breakdown segment. We're going to go to a full breakdown segment. I'll talk about the packaging as a whole. I'm going to talk about the new face scan technology that both Mattel and Hasbro is implementing for both their actors and, let's say, wrestling figures. We're going to talk about the paint, the articulation, and the accessories, a very important part here, and conclude the video with final thoughts for the viewer. Should you actually pick up the Elite Series number 56 AJ Styles figure, or should you pass on him and get a different AJ Styles figure? Stay tuned, guys. We'll go to a breakdown segment. Alright guys, we're in a breakdown segment looking at the Mattel WWE Elite Collection number 56 AJ Styles figure. And the very first thing we always do is look at the packaging. Really cool packaging. Is using this brand new packaging they just sort of started using. I think it started in the Elite Series number 54 is where they changed this entire packaging up. At the top here we have, it has its authentic ring entrance gear. Over here we have AJ Styles. We have him in a window box display, as you can see here. It does talk about Rob Schomburger's new artwork he has here, which is a figure stand that has an insert, which I've seen it on other figures. They had it on the Elite Series figure for AJ Styles number 47 wave, which I wasn't a big fan of that insert. I don't like the way it looks. Down here it does say Elite Series on this side, right at the bottom. Over here you have a shot of AJ Styles, WWE logo at the top here. On this side here it does say AJ Styles. I'll kind of get it there so you can see it says AJ Styles right there. And on the back here is a picture of him with all the other figures that were available in this particular wave. Of course, we had Roman Reigns, we had Jack Gallagher, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson, part of the original Bullet Club. So I think it's a very cool figure. So let's actually get this guy out of packaging for more of the breakdown. Alright guys, we have the WWE Elite Series number 56 AJ Styles out of packaging. And the very first thing we always do is look at the paint and presentation. First and foremost, I want to look at that head sculpt. I was sort of gushing about it at the beginning of the video. This is a new face scanning technology that both Mattel and Hasbro are both introducing. I know they're doing it at least on the Elite Series figures going forward. I don't know about the basic series for Mattel, and Hasbro's doing it for the Black Series stuff as well for the new face sculpt technology. But this is probably the best rendition we've ever seen of AJ Styles, in my honest opinion. This looks just like AJ Styles. The way the face looks, the way the beard looks, the way the hair looks, it looks dead on the money. Now if we go down the figure a little bit more, of course he has the bare chested. This is without any accessories on him currently. On this arm right here, he does have his elbow pad, which does say P1. I'll kind of put it up a little higher so you can see it. This is removable. You can take this elbow pad off if you want to. I would call it an extra accessory, but I always like leaving this particular elbow pad on my AJ Styles figure, mainly because it's one of his moves he actually does all the time in his matches. Now if we look at his hands, he has two gloves on. They're both blue and they both say AJ Styles on both gloves. I hope you can see that coming across. It may be a lighter colored blue, but it's really a darker blue in person. Now if we go down the rest of the figure, kind of pull back a little bit here, it's this blue and white gear he has on. It's white trim throughout the entire gear with basically a solid blue with white and black trim basically. On his boots he has the Phenomenal on this one here, which would be my right, your left, and the number 1, which of course would be my left, your right. This is what he normally has for all the AJ figures. This is sort of a trademark he has for all his toys. I do like the way it looks. He does have the P1 logo on this side here. This is of course what he's known for, is a Phenomenal one. He has this on his newer gears. On his original Royal Rumble gear, which I'll do a comparison near the end of the video, he does not have this P1 symbol because at the Royal Rumble it was brand new gear and he didn't have his logo yet finalized by WWE. He has of course Japanese writing on the back here, which very much symbolizes his run in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I like a lot. So let's actually look at now the articulation on this figure. Great amount of articulation. I love the amount of range this figure has. Head has some movement up and down, a tiny bit, not a whole lot. Head will spin 360 degrees with no hindrance of the articulation. The right arm for me, left arm for you, 360 with no issues, can go out to a full T. These arms were extremely tight when I got it out of the packaging. I had to break these joints down to get it to actually get into this position. For a while, the arms, I couldn't get it past this. This is how he actually was for a while until I broke the articulation in to get the arms to go down in this position. I thought the figure was messed up, but breaking the figure down, it was okay. So we move the arms up here so we can get down further. He does have a chest rocker. He does rock. Good amount of movement here. You can see, kind of move the arms further back out of shot. You can go back about there, which is a typical range of motion, but forward, he can go really far forward. So I do like that range of motion there with it. Now, if we go down further to the legs, legs can go out. You can get him into a full split. He doesn't have that weird joint that we've seen it before, and I believe it was, might have been for Hasbro, I believe it was, where the legs would splay in the middle. This can go to a full split. Now, if we move it back into standard position here, let's get him back into his normal position. The legs, you can get a nice kick with the figure, nice range of motion here. You can't get about that high on both legs. Both legs will allow you to get this range of motion, so I do like that range of motion. Now, if we go down, the actual thigh can spin 360 degrees. This is very similar to, let's say, the Black Panther review I did as far as his range of motion, his range of articulation. So the entire thigh will spin 360 degrees. Yes, it will look funny because the way the gear set up, some of the imagery will be off and won't line up properly, as you can see here. I'll kind of get there so you can see what I'm talking about. As you see here, the lines for the way the gear, the symbolism will be off a little bit if you move the legs in a weird position, but that's okay. He does have a double jointed knee, as you can see right there. I do like there's 2 pins in the knees. The calf has full rotation right here. This is very surprising. Look back at some of the older figures as well. There is no real articulation on the foot. You have side articulation, meaning the foot will go a little bit to the side, as you can see me doing here. You see it moving a little bit this way, but there is no up and down movement, which I'm really surprised about. I thought they'd have up and down movement on this figure, but they do not. All in all, as far as the presentation and the paint and the level of articulation is highly articulated, I absolutely love this figure. Now let's talk about accessories. And this is going to be a very, very tricky part in shooting this video because the way these accessories are designed, you have to basically put the vest on, plug the pieces into position, and then basically take part of the vest off to put it back on. So I'm going to do cuts intermingled in this to show you what the vest configurations you can do for. Let's first talk about the actual vest itself. We'll move AJ off to the side a little bit, and we'll take a look at this vest. This is a vest he's pretty much known for wearing on TV now. This is the same vest he had in the Elite Series number 51. I do not own that figure. I didn't like it. That's why I did not buy it. This is a very rubbery material. He has a P1 logo on the back. This is a very rubbery material. You can turn it inside out, and it's not going to basically break or rip. Now, long-term use, I cannot state whether or not over long-term use this will hold up. It's rubbery, and it does have a lot of movement, a lot of give to it. So let's actually put this on the actual figure. Now, this is kind of, I won't put a cut in here because I can get the actual vest on pretty much with no issues. It's when we start talking about getting the pieces in place, the actual hood accessories, that's where you get a problem. This, to me, is probably the premier looking AJ Styles figure. Absolutely. When you look at this figure, it screams AJ Styles, at least to me. I love the way this looks. Now, here's where I'm going to put a cut in place because I want to put the accessories on in a second, but I want to show it to you first, both pieces. So we have 2 accessories that it comes with for the hood. This is the same gear set, basically, the vest and these 2 pieces here are the same pieces that came with the number 51 Elite Series figure. First and foremost, let's actually look at this hood. This is an up hood, which you basically have all the way sitting up. Basically, his head would be right here, and there's 2 little plug points. You see it right here and right here that plugs into these 2 plug points right here on the vest. So that's where the tricky part is because you have to actually get the vest partially off to put the hood in place. And the weird thing about it is if you don't hook the vest into the back of the hood properly here, there's basically a sort of like a little slit here, sort of an indentation basically, that fits on the hood. So if you don't get it lined up properly, it won't sit right. Now, that's a cool looking look. I do like this one, but I think this one looks better. This is a downed hood, which is basically his hood in a down position. I think they could have sculpted this maybe into this vest itself instead of giving us this accessory. I don't think this was a good implementation, my honest opinion. So I'll be back in a second with this hood in place. Alright, so when you actually put the hood in place, once you get it all locked in place, it looks pretty good. But you have to really finagle to get the actual hood on. You have to really tuck it into the actual vest to make it look, to give the impression of the hood being up. I do think it looks good, but it does take a bit of time and effort to get this attached properly, meaning you have to line up the hood exactly to the vest or it will not work properly. I do think it looks good, but I don't think I'm going to have them in this particular pose. I'll be back in a second with this piece in place. Alright guys, so I actually swapped off and got the smaller hood in place, and this is the way I'm probably going to display this figure. Having the hood in place does not hinder any of the articulation. As you see me here, I'm spinning his head 360 degrees with no problem there. It fits with no issues. It was much easier to swap out than this big piece here. Of course, the articulation does not hinder in this one as well. You just have to turn it around. There's enough room, enough wiggle room to get the actual head to spin with this hood if you wanted to. But this one I really like. I think this is the way I'm going to display this AJ Styles figure. I do like it with the hood down. I think it's a very cool effect. I like this one much better than that other hood there. So let's actually come back from a second with the other accessories. And last but not least, there's two really other accessories for this figure. One is the figure stand, which as I've talked about before in the number 47 Elite Series AJ Styles figure. It's a standard sort of figure stand that you can actually put the figure on. It does have one plug point, which is right here. I do wish it would have had two plug points, because I believe the figure, yeah, it does. It still has two plug points in the actual feet. So I think it would have been a much better idea having it with two plug points. The figure would be much more stable than having the single figure here. Once you put this stand in place, it is physically secured. I was trying to detach this stand, and short of me breaking it, I do not recommend it. Basically, if you plug in, it actually pushes the little piece of plastic. I don't know if you can really see it here. There's a little divot here. So once you push this through, it's basically in place. Now, there's a piece of art from Rob Schumacher, who's basically an artist. They've actually showcased on WWE before with AJ here jumping up and doing that phenomenal forearm. A really cool looking piece here, really cool looking piece of art. But my personal opinion, it shouldn't have been for this figure. It's very easy to put in place. You just slide it right in and it looks something like this. To display the actual figure, you basically just put it on the figure stand, and he has one plug point, which I mentioned before. You just stick it on, and now AJ is on the stand itself. I do think this cardboard is very cheap and very flimsy. I see this thing breaking down rather quickly. I do not recommend storing it with this figure, meaning having this out. I would put this away. If you want to leave the figure stand in place, you can. I have my number 47 with the cardboard still, just because I had never put it away. I'm kind of lazy about it. But this is how he would look if you displayed him on the actual figure stand. I do think it looks good. I do think it looks good, but I don't think it's needed. They should have taken the money from this and redesigned this bottom piece here, in my honest opinion, to give you some place to store the extra accessories. Having this maybe on a really tall, let's say a taller stand like this, with a slidable drawer that you could put the head in place and the extra, let's say, extra piece up top here, the extra hood, I think would be a much better approach than having these pieces laying around. I don't like having extra parts laying around. Now, let's take a look at the other figures and compare them to this AJ Styles figure. Here we have, of course, a Toys R Us exclusive, which was a Spotlight number. This was its own figure. It wasn't part of any specific wave. Next we have, of course, AJ number 47. I'll put them all three in the shot so you can see them all three figures in the place. I do like all three of these figures. Of course, this is number 47, which is his Royal Rumble gear. This is how he actually debuted at the Royal Rumble. If you notice, as I mentioned before, there is no phenomenal one on any part of his gear, just because the logo was not yet approved by WWE. Of course, a Spotlight Toys R Us exclusive here, which I do like this because the hood is in this down position. Definitely take a look at that video if you've not yet seen it. It's red, white, and blue gear. It looks really cool. I think this was part of his, I believe it was his WrestleMania gear from WrestleMania 33, I believe it was, or it could be off in WrestleMania. And of course, we're looking now at number 56 Wave AJ Styles. I like all three of these figures. Now, if you asked me if I only had to pick one figure, which would it be? I like them all, but if it's a gun to the head sort of approach, I like number 56. I like what they did here with this figure. I like this vest since I don't own this vest yet. This is a different vest than this one right here. The number 56 vest, which is the newer one compared to the 47, is a different vest altogether. It's not the same vest. This is what he's wearing really basically today. I believe this is the same vest for the Elite Series number 51, which is this vest right here. I don't own that figure because I didn't like the head sculpt, but I absolutely highly recommend the number 56 AJ Styles figures. With that being said, let's go to final thoughts and wrap up this video. Alright guys, final thoughts on the Mattel WWE Elite number 56 Wave AJ Styles figure. I really like this AJ Styles figure, as you see right here. I have the number 47 Elite figure here, which is the very first AJ Styles ever released for WWE, the Royal Rumble design. I have the Spotlight Series AJ Styles right here, and of course we have the new one, number 56 from that new wave. I do talk about it in the video and about in the breakdown segment about the stupid cardboard and the attachment, the little stand he has here. It is very much a pain because once you put this stand together, it's extremely difficult to try to pull it apart. You're going to see some stress lines actually on this stand as I was trying to rip the stand apart and pull it apart, put it back in the packaging. I can't do it. I think once you put the stand together, it's locked in place. They use the same type of design for the number 47 here, would have the stand and this little cardboard insert, as well as the new one here for number 56. I absolutely love the new head sculpt technology. I think it's much different, a better approach than the original two traditional AJ style figures we have right here. Much better than that screaming mouth from the wave number 51. I didn't like that one at all. They're using the number 51 gear set, which I talked about in the breakdown segment. I have them both detached right now because I want to just leave them displayed currently like this for you guys. Now, would I actually recommend buying this figure? That's the big question you have to ask at the end of this video and the final thoughts for the viewers. Is it worth it to spend the $20 for this figure? I think I agree. I like the brand new face sculpt technology. It's the closest we've ever seen to an AJ style looking face in action figure form. Much better than these two. Now, I like both these, mind you, but I think this one's even better. I think number 56, the new wave AJ Styles, is much better face sculpting technology design than the traditional AJ Styles we've had in the past, number 47, and the Spotlight figure. I absolutely think it's well worth the money. Again, the big negative to take with this video are the extra accessories and the stupid cardboard insert. I think they should have taken the money from this, from the cardboard insert, maybe gave him a stand, but have a little shelf, a little drawer inside of it, so you can put the accessories inside that drawer. I hate having extra pieces out, because I know for a fact I will lose them. It happens to me all the time. That would be the biggest takeaway I would have with this figure, is having the additional parts. The next part I would say is sort of a misstep, which happened in the number 51 series AJ as well, are these two pieces which they took basically the same accessories, made this new figure. Or the little connection points when you stick this onto the actual vest, it's not easy to do. And that's why you saw cuts in the middle of the breakdown segment, because it's not easy to put these pieces, these quote-unquote interchangeable parts, I had to do quotes there, interchangeable parts on this figure. You have to pull the vest apart, push the plug points in, and it has to line up with the back of this vest. If it doesn't, it won't connect properly. And in theory, I think it looks good on paper, but the execution, as far as it was for the Elite Series 51, as well as the number 56 AJ Styles figure, is absolutely flawed. I would say either leave it with basically the head down piece, or leave it with no hood at all, or they could have actually taken the same design as this one here and have the actual sculpted hood in the back of the actual sort of vest. I would have had an issue with that. I think that would have been a fine way to make it look like it has an accessory without giving us an accessory. That'd be the only really missteps I would have, are the accessories that are very hard to plug in place. The rubber coat was nice, as I mentioned in the breakdown. There is some give to it, but I think over time you might start wearing that coat, that vest down a lot, just taking it on and off or maneuvering it around a lot to get these pieces in place. It is not easy and it's rather tricky. But that being said, putting that aside, I absolutely recommend buying the Elite Series number 56 Wave AJ Styles figure. So I hope you guys liked this video review of number 56 Series AJ Styles Elite Series figure. Definitely click that like button, always click subscribe to the channel, click the little bell icon to be notified of my latest videos, and last but not least, you can click Windows over here to watch more of my videos. Take care guys, I'll see you next video, and bye bye.